Hello everyone. Now we are seeing an experiment called 4-stroke single cylinder diesel engine. The aim of this experiment is to conduct a performance test on a single cylinder 4-stroke diesel engine. The operators required for this experiment are a single cylinder diesel engine test rig and a stopwatch. The procedure to be followed for this experiment are: switch on the power supply console and start the engine by cranking. Run the engine at particular speed and note down the readings such as time taken for 10 cc of fuel consumption. Then repeat the steps for different load conditions like 1 kilowatt, 1.5 to 2.5 kilowatt, etc. like that. After completion of experiment, release the load, cut off the fuel supply and stop the engines. So once we are going to change the electrical loadings, we need to note down the different readings such as the manometer reading and the fuel consumption reading along with the engine speed. The precautions to be carried out for this experiment are: the engine should be checked for no load condition, the cooling water inlet for engine should be opened, the level of fuel in the fuel tank should be checked, and lubricating oil level is to be checked before starting the engines. And you can note down the type of engine and the specifications what you are using. So these are the observations: the electrical loading, the speed, the manometer reading, the temperature input and output, the mass of fuel, the BP, BSFC, brake thermal efficiency, like different parameters to be calculated. So these are the calculations, the observations which may require some of the formulas. So these formulas or calculations is very much required to perform the experiment. You can see various formulas for BSFC, brake thermal efficiency, and how to find out FP, the frictional power. The frictional power is from Williams line method or Williams graph method. Then we know the relationship between IP is equal to BP plus FP. So IP is nothing but the indicated power, BP is nothing but the brake power, and FP is frictional power. So the BP will be getting from the alternator output and the FP from the Williams line method. Once these two then you can find out IP. The mechanical efficiency is BP by IP. So V suffix A is how to find out with respect to the volume of air. What is the formula? Is going to be like CD into A into root of 2GH, where CD is nothing but the coefficient of discharge of an orifice, and A is the area of the cylinder, and 2G is 9.81, and HA is height of air column. So these are the formulas what we are using for to perform the experiment. So once you find out all this calculations part and we are getting the readings, then you need to plot the various graphs such as the air fuel ratio versus BP and the BSFC versus BP. So like these graphs will show the trend with respect to the load conditions. For example, if the load increases, what happens to air fuel ratio, whether air fuel ratio is increasing or whether the air fuel ratio is decreasing, like that. To know the trend is very important with respect to IC engine testing or the performance testing. Thank you. Hello everyone. This experiment is single cylinder diesel engine. The aim of this experiment is to find out the performance test with respect to various factors like the power output, the torque, the fuel consumption, like that. So you could have seen this is called as the test rig. You can note down various readings here: the temperature indicator, the brake power or the power output of alternator, and it is going to be the engine speed. You can check that vary the adjustments with respect to temperature here, and digital stopwatch, and these are the switches where you can increase the load. So this here we are using the electrical loading. We have different types of loading here with respect to engines, such as the hydraulic loading, the mechanical loading and electrical loading. So what we are using here is electrical loading. So here it is 0.5 kilowatts, then it is going to be 1.5 to 2.5 kilowatts. So once you are increasing the loads, you can see various fluctuations with respect to the power output as well as speed. Okay. So along with that, we will be having one YouTube manometer here which records the airflow reading, and another thing you can see here, this is going to be the burette where the fuel will be collected directly from the tank. Okay. So here whatever the fuel we are using is nothing but diesel. It is a diesel engine, a single cylinder diesel engine, where the fuel will be topped up here in the tank, then that will be coming into the burette. Okay. Then afterwards we have the control over here with respect to the fuel to off and on the fuel flow into the engine. So you can see here, this is going to be the flywheel and this is the injector, and this engine is started with respect to the manual crank or hand crank. We can start the engine from the hand crank lever of the engine. Yes. So that is how you are going to carry out or perform the experiment. So depending upon which parameters you need to find, on that basis you will be having the formulas. From that formulas you can find out the different powers like brake power, the FP, frictional power and other kind of powers. Similarly the efficiencies. Okay. So that is what you are going to conduct. And similarly like this you are going to conduct the performance test on multi-cylinder engine also, multi-cylinder diesel engine or multi-cylinder petrol engine. For that engines also you will be following the same parameters or same experiments procedure to conduct the experiment. Thank you.